You run your dog for 3 miles a day because everyone tells you a tired dog is a good dog, but you are actually making their behavior much worse because you are just building a highly stressed canine athlete. Stay with me until the end, because what your dog actually needs to find real peace is something most owners spend years never knowing. And once you understand it, you will never look at their daily exercise routine the same way again. And I will save the most shocking truth for last, the one that completely shatters the most common dog training mantra in the world. You lace up your sneakers and take your dog on a fast, intense 3-mile run around the neighborhood, keeping a strict pace. Almost everyone assumes this intense physical exhaustion will finally create a calm and well-behaved dog for the rest of the day. A 2019 study from the journal Applied Animal Behavior Science found that forced, repetitive exercise without mental engagement actually creates chronic adrenaline stacking. You are not draining their anxiety, you are just building an elite endurance athlete with an abnormally high baseline for stress. Their body is aggressively adapting to the daily chaos, meaning they will literally just need more chaos to feel normal tomorrow. Next time you go for a run, leave them at home to rest and give them a separate, dedicated walking session entirely. Now consider another way we accidentally wire their brains for non-stop stress. You stand in the backyard throwing a tennis ball for 45 minutes straight, waiting for your dog to finally lay down and give up. Most owners think they are doing their dog a massive favor by letting them burn off all that endless pent-up energy. A 2020 study from the University of Lincoln found that repetitive fetch games trigger a massive spike in cortisol and adrenaline that can take up to 3 full days to clear from their bloodstream. It is exactly like drinking 4 shots of espresso and then immediately being asked to take a quiet nap. Their nervous system is practically vibrating with unresolved chemical arousal that has nowhere to go. Tomorrow, stop throwing the ball after 10 short minutes and hide it deep in the grass for them to sniff out instead. But what happens when we try to simply get through our basic daily schedule? You are running late for work and gently tug the leash to pull your dog away from a bush they have been deeply smelling for 2 straight minutes. Exactly what most owners believe right now is that lingering in one spot is just wasting time on a walk, fundamentally meant for forward movement and exercise. A 2018 study from the journal Physiology and Behavior found that allowing a dog to freely engage their olfactory bulb releases extremely high levels of calming dopamine. When you pull them away, you are essentially snatching a brilliant book out of their hands right at the most crucial climax. Their nose is their absolute primary mechanism for regulating their own anxious nervous system. Tonight, give them one walk where they dictate the pace entirely, even if you only make it to the end of your block. This directly impacts what happens when we try to entertain them indoors. You wave a flirt pole or drag a toy rapidly across the living room carpet to get those last frantic evening zoomies out of their system. Most owners believe this rapid, predatory movement is the perfect, safe way to satisfy their natural drive before going to sleep. A 2021 study from the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that high-arousal predatory games without a clear biological conclusion actively damage a dog's sleep architecture. It is equivalent to revving a high-performance engine in neutral with nowhere to actually go. They experience the massive physical buildup of the hunt with absolutely none of the necessary psychological release. Tonight, end every single play session by letting them actually catch the toy and chew on it quietly for 5 uninterrupted minutes. This brings us directly to the most chaotic environment of them all. You open the gate at the local dog park and happily let your dog sprint into a massive pack of running, wrestling dogs. Almost everyone assumes this chaotic free-for-all is the holy grail of canine socialization and healthy energy management. A 2022 study from the University of Helsinki found that unstructured, high-density dog parks consistently elevate baseline heart rates and significantly increase the hidden risk of long-term reactive behavior. You think you are taking them to a fun playground, but you are actually dropping them into a crowded, overwhelming nightclub with absolutely no bouncer. The sheer volume of movement and unpredictable energy forces them into a chronic state of hypervigilance. Next weekend, skip the crowded park completely and take them on a quiet nature hike with just one trusted dog friend. And this overwhelming arousal completely changes how they handle being left entirely alone. You spend 30 minutes riling your dog up and playing incredibly hard right before you have to leave the house for a long shift at work. Most owners think leaving a physically exhausted dog alone is the absolute best way to prevent separation anxiety and destructive chewing. A 2017 study from the journal Animal Welfare found that intense physical activity immediately prior to isolation actually exacerbates separation distress by leaving the dog in a state of peak physiological arousal. You are essentially walking out the front door the exact second their internal alarm bells are ringing the absolute loudest. They are left in an empty, silent house, buzzing with frantic energy and absolutely no way to ask for help. Tomorrow morning, enforce 20 full minutes of absolute, boring calm before you even reach for your keys. If you actually want to understand what your dog is telling you, hit the like button right now. Fun fact, it actually turns into a little paw when you do. And write your dog's name in the comments right now. Tell me if you have ever tried to tire them out like this. I read every single one. Now let's keep going, because what comes next is the one most owners never see coming. Which brings us back to that daily, exhausting running routine. You run your dog for 3 miles, pushing them to the absolute limit, and proudly watch them sleep it off on the rug. You smile warmly, thinking you are the perfect, dedicated owner doing exactly what they physically need. But this is the absolute most misunderstood and destructive misconception in modern dog ownership. Dogs do not fundamentally process the complex world through extreme muscle fatigue. They process their entire, vibrant existence through their incredible nose. Ethological research shows that actively engaging a dog's olfactory bulb burns massive amounts of mental energy, and more importantly, naturally lowers their frantic heart rate to a peaceful, resting baseline. It feels truly heartbreaking to realize we have been running our best friends ragged, accidentally pushing them into chronic stress, all in the name of trying to be a good owner. But pause right there for a very important moment. Your dog has been continuously sprinting beside you, not because they needed to, but strictly because you asked them to. They have been faithfully matching your intense pace, ignoring their own desperate biological need to stop and smell the world, purely out of absolute devotion to you. That is not just impressive physical stamina, that is a breathtaking display of unconditional loyalty. They are actively choosing your human routine over their own canine biology. Tonight, when it is time for their walk, leave your running shoes locked in the closet. Tomorrow, swap that long, exhausting run for a slow 15-minute wandering sniff safari. Let them stop at every single bush, every single fire hydrant, and every single interesting patch of grass. Let their brilliant nose do the exhausting work instead of forcing their tired legs. Share this with someone who loves their dog and deserves to know this. Not for this channel, for them. We are here every week decoding what your dog has been trying to tell you all along. They deserve to be understood, and so do you.